How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the first of many of our podcast. We're going to call it the Investment Realtors Podcast. Lewis here.
Justin.
And today our topic of conversation is going to be investment properties. What to look for.
There's a lot to kind of dive in with that. We oftentimes get asked quite a bit, our opinion on investment properties, on whether it's to keep money in the bank, is the sure kind of safe gold, and what's going to make them the best amount on their return. There is no one size fits all. We've had countless conversations with our clients, with our mentors, with each other. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to an investment property. We're going to try and get into it just a little bit. There are going to be probably some follow-up videos in the future of diving deeper, like landlord-tenant board, insurance brokers, mortgage brokers, realtors. A lot of things that really come together in order to make owning an investment property feasible. So how we start off first and foremost is we like to use our own MLS system, but for purposes for our clients, we like to get them to use Realtor.ca because it can help them plug in some numbers on their mortgage calculator.
There's a really good mortgage calculator that we like to use on Realtor.ca. And it literally is it's super easy.
Absolutely.
Plug in the numbers, you put in whatever you need to put in, mortgage rate, cash, down payment, everything, price, and it'll spit out everything word for word, including the land transfer tax.
Which that's another kind of hidden fee that oftentimes is overlooked. And these are all kind of part of the closing costs that you, as whether you're a first-time home buyer or an investor, that you have to make sure you're counting for. So we'll do a purchase price maybe of $400,000.
Okay, we'll start with $400,000 purchase price.
Now you might be looking at us like, maybe when you guys were born.
In the GTA, $400,000?
If you're buying maybe a condo, okay. We have had clients that we've helped out in the surrounding area of GTA. We like to kind of describe it as usually about an hour and a half, 2 hours north, south, east, west of the GTA. Now, before we dive into that deeper, you're probably thinking, well, if I'm going an hour, 2 hours, aren't the rents going to be much lower? Now, that's not the case.
That's not really the case at all.
With what we've seen in our career and our clients that we've helped, there's always a need for people to live in every area.
Doesn't matter.
For employment, family, whatever the case is. So you would be really surprised on what market rents could command in areas outside the GTA, and we'll touch on that a little bit further. So $400,000, okay? So we'll give you two scenarios: scenario one, scenario two. Scenario one would be, for example, an owner-occupied rental. So, for example, I live upstairs. I rent my basement out to Joe Schmo. No problem. In that case, I could put down 5%.
The minimum is 5.
Exactly. 5% on $400,000 is $20,000 that you would have to put down. However, you would then have a mortgage insurance of $15,200. So now scenario two would be strictly as an investment purpose, meaning you're going to rent top and bottom, or if it's a single family home, you're not living there, it's strictly used as an investment. That 20% on $400,000 would be $80,000.
Which is the minimum. If it's not owner occupied, the minimum is 20%.
Exactly. There's no ifs, ands, or but. People will tell you otherwise. You can forge whatever you want.
Fudge the numbers.
The CRA will find it. They'll always come looking. Sleep
Anything
well at night. And do everything by the book. This isn't your parents' generation, your grandparents' generation that we hear all the time. That, you do it like this.
We used to do cash, jobs.
You do everything by the book, and you minimize your exposure and really your threat. So now, what we like to do, you now know it's $80,000 on $400,000.
Down payment.
So we'll amortize it over 30 years. Now, this is just for kind of instruction purposes. We're not mortgage brokers. Your mortgage broker will be able to kind of obviously dive deeper into it, because you obviously will have other debts, other things that will definitely affect your
approval. And they'll give you a better rate. We're just going to go with what we see right now in the market. We're going to put at 7.
We put at 7% because we like to always overshoot, so that way we know we're always secure. And it's pretty much saved us so far. So 30 years amortized at 7% interest rate would give you a mortgage payment of $2,108.
Just mortgage.
Just mortgage.
Just mortgage.
Now, as Lewis and I know from our clients, from our experiences, you're not just paying a mortgage when you own an investment property.
Yeah. You got taxes.
We got taxes.
You got property insurance.
Yeah.
You have probably liability insurance if you want to get that, fire, theft, whatever.
Yeah.
Those are all added costs to the price. So it's mortgage plus that.
Yeah.
And of course, if your tenants are in an all-inclusive deal, which is another thing we could talk about, you're paying all utilities.
Yep.
Whether they leave the tap on for 2 hours or 10 hours, that's covered under you. We always suggest if you're putting in your tenants fresh and you're not inheriting tenants from a previous owner, which is another thing we'll talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to...
You want to get them on their own utilities, their own hydro, water, gas, because when they pay their own, they're a lot more cognizant of what they're spending.
Absolutely. However, to what Lewis has said, what we have learned, what we've actually taught to our clients is, unfortunately, we're at the point now where as a society, landlords are kind of looked down upon and tenants have all the rights, which isn't fair. It should be a 50-50. Yeah. So the bad landlords should be punished, penalized,
whatever.
Shouldn't be allowed to own. Because there's a lot of good landlords we see that are taken advantage of, that have to carry a house for a year, 2 years, before they can even think about recuperating any costs. Or
you can only raise rents a certain amount a year.
What the Ontario provincial guideline is for that year.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, they actually had a freeze, so you couldn't raise anything.
Nothing.
Which is very unfortunate because a lot of landlords went under, and there was a lot of kind of bad slander and like kind of, oh good, then they shouldn't be doing it as a business. But a lot of these landlords are providing a service to these people who need to rent that the government doesn't step in for. So without these small business owners, essentially, they're filling in a hole, which is very unfortunate. So we want to educate people because we know from talking with our friends and family, there's a lot of people on the sidelines of owning investments, as they should, but there's a lot of good
opportunities to be had.
Absolutely.
It's a great opportunity to do. If you can afford it and you can like line up all your ducks in a row and buy an investment property and manage it properly, be a good landlord, do all that stuff. There's a lot of mutual benefits for the landlord and the tenant. Like a tenant wants to live somewhere where the rent's reasonable, the house is upkept, appliances are working, everything's working, it's taken care of, and they're not living in a slum. So that's the responsibility of the landlord. Tenants have responsibilities as well. They have to treat it as their own, pay on time, and just take care of it. Don't burn it down. Don't destroy it. Live as if it's your place. And in a relationship like that, both sides can benefit.
Absolutely.
I mean, the last thing you want is for either the government or a big massive business from like the States buying to move in. They'll lock you out. The landlord tenant board, consider it out the window. If that happens. So it's good to just be realistic and let's
be a good
really
team.
Be a good team. Let's just be a team.
What we like to describe or make our landlords understand, at the end of the day, yes, you're providing a service, but these tenants are also paying your mortgage that's allowing you to build up equity in these homes to then either, further buy other properties to help other people or just help you with passive income to sustain your own business or your own lifestyle, which is why a lot of people get into it.
Yeah, so that's another thing. So when you're looking to rent it out, always be cognizant of what the tenants are paying and how you're going to rent it out, what the market rents are for the area, because that all comes into the equation of can I afford this house?
Absolutely. So another thing we like to touch on too is having the right professionals. So let's say we've talked about now grandfathered in, utilities, all of that. You're buying this property, you're comfortable with the money that you're putting down as a down payment. Even if you're a handyman or a good DIYer, you want to get professionals. So you want to get a home inspection. You don't want your cousin Joe, your Uncle Bob. You want a professional to come through this house. And why we say that is because there's more than just, oh wow, look, there's a crack there, that's not a big deal. For example, you're buying a house from the 1900s.
Yeah.
Your cousin Bob says, yeah, the house looks great, buy it. You bought in this house. Your insurance now, a week before closing, because you need to have insurance on your property in order to have that mortgage, says, okay, what kind of electrical's in there? We say, I don't know. My cousin Bob said it looks great. Now you have an electrician that goes through because you need to know, and they go, uh-oh, you have knob and tube.
And aluminum.
And you have fuses. Well, okay, that's not a big deal. They'll give me insurance. No. They might give you insurance at either a double or a triple rate,
Yeah,
or what
premium.
we've seen with our clients is, sorry, we can't insure you until this house is brought up to code.
Yeah, fix it.
Sorry, what does that mean? That now means the $500 you saved on a home inspection is now out the door because you need to rewire this house, because without insurance, you cannot get a mortgage on a property. You can't get mortgage on that property, or insurance means you can't close that property.
Yeah.
So now your deposit, you wave it goodbye-bye. You can't get that house. There's a lot more, and that's why we really are just interested in helping people understand on how to become a landlord and doing it the right way, because nobody should get screwed over, whether it's a tenant or a landlord. But you need to spend money to make money. We've been told this all the time, and we never understood it until it cost us money as well.
Yeah.
So getting the right professionals via, you have home inspector,
Yep.
mortgage broker,
Yep.
insurance broker,
Yep.
realtors.
Yep.
There's so many things, and what our job is, we're detailed and we understand what's happening with the real estate. And then it's our kind of book of wealth of our connections, and not even just connection. There's a lot of good people out there that you just need to be able to call and use, because you can't be a professional in everything. And this is what we see so many times, time and time again, where people make a mistake.
Yeah, and we're gonna get people on this podcast
Yeah,
too.
a lot of professionals.
all walks of life, and just hearing their stories, because the only way to learn is through stories. From as long as time itself, we've all learned through stories and experiences.
A little bit of little nuggets that you can pick from everybody.
Right?
Because something that works for Lewis and I might not work for you,
Yeah.
but we might have something in place that you kind of could critique or make it worthwhile, or you've made it even better. And that's kind of why we started this, because we were so sick of, the what ifs and nobody wanting to help on anybody. We're in a very kind of selfish generation now where, me, I want to see you do good, never better than me.
Yeah.
And we want to kind of stop that stigma or that wrong way of thinking. Like, everybody should get ahead together. This is how it's been for generations.
Yeah.
And now we wonder why everything is getting so messed up. And it's a lot more than just owning an investment. So
No, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. We're going to talk on different videos a lot more of a breakdown of, like we had mentioned, landlord tenant board, just mortgage brokers, insurance brokers, and just things that can help you with investment properties, because at the end of the day, what can't you buy in life? Time. And that's all that being a landlord, it allows you to do. It allows you time. It gives you time. It gives you that financial freedom, so you could be at home with your kids. You can work on your side hustles or your main hustles.
Yeah.
So it's it's a lot more than just plugging in some numbers and being a good landlord. There's a lot that goes through it, and we want to be here with the people through the journey.
Yeah. So, I think we pretty much covered everything to do with investment properties, more or less.
Yeah, we touched a little bit on the numbers. I mean, we're happy if anybody wants like a one-on-one with us.
Yeah.
We don't charge anything. Our time is free, essentially, where we like to teach people what we've learned, because we've learned by somebody teaching us, and we both agree, and we're both with the same principles of what we've gotten to us. We want to share the wealth. We want to help people.
Sitting down for a coffee costs us $2.
Yep.
And we can talk as long as we want. We talk all day.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
any questions you have, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and
Yeah.
leave any comments you want. Let us know what topics you want us to talk about.
Yeah, even if it's not real estate related. I mean, we have a vast kind of knowledge of other silly things. Lewis is quite the athlete in different sports. So it's going to be an overall kind of podcast video of real estate and just the real side of people that oftentimes when you see on YouTube or podcasts, you don't see that real side. You just see for views and money, and that's not what we're doing with this for. We're doing this to
this is
further help.
our opinions. And this
Yes.
is our experiences.
Yep.
We're not told what to say.
No, we're not paid, we're not affiliated.
We're just two realtors that are trying to just talk about what we see on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
This is what we see.
Yep.
I mean, there's no point in holding this info close to the chest when you
Nope.
can tell people stuff. So whatever you guys want to know, you let us know in the comments, and we'll talk about it.
Yep. Like I always say, today is us, tomorrow is you. So there's a lot of things that we've learned and that you can teach us as well.
Yeah.
We're always open here. Remember, if you're not learning, then
What are you doing?
I don't know. All right, guys, till the next one.
All right, this is your Investment Realtors Podcast.
Realtors
and
Squared, we like to say. It's
Realtors
all of it.
Square. We'll see you next time.